Well, hello everyone, and it's Wednesday, and here at Star Pupil, that means it's all about writing Wednesdays. Now, I know some of you are actually off school this week and you're having a half-term break, and I hope if you are, you're having a really good week. I know it's probably not the half-term some people had planned, but I hope you're having, whatever you're doing, you're having fun and you're enjoying some time away from home learning. However, even if you are having a little bit of a break from learning, you can still take part in today's writing activity because it's all about letters. Now, I don't know about you, but I've just loved getting letters or cards or just little notes through the post over the last few months. It's just been a real highlight of the day. Somebody's taken time and effort to just sit down and just send me some news, just ask me how I am, or just general sort of keeping in touch, just a different way of keeping in touch. And of course, we've got all those modern ways, sending email, WhatsApp, Zoom conferencing, all of those things. But an old-fashioned letter, I don't know, there's something very personal about it. So what we're going to look at this morning is I'm going to look at how some writers have used letters in their stories, and then I'm going to give you your activity.
So the first book I'm going to share with you and share a few extracts from is a book, again, a book I've had for a long, long time. I think actually I read recently, this book is over 30 years old, but it's called, you can see it's called Dear Greenpeace. And it's about a girl called Emily who finds something a bit unusual, or thinks she does, in her pond. And I'll just read you a couple of extracts from that book. I think I'll probably start at the beginning because that'll give you a really good idea of what it is that Emily has found in her pond. Dear Greenpeace, I love whales very much, and I think I saw one in my pond today. Please send me some information on whales, as I think he might be hurt. And there is a picture of Emily looking out the window and looking at the whale. And I wonder what Greenpeace are going to think when they get that letter. Dear Emily, here are some details about whales. I don't think you'll find it was a whale you saw, because whales don't live in ponds, but in salt water. Yours sincerely, Greenpeace. Dear Greenpeace, I am now putting salt into the pond every day before school, and last night I saw my whale smile. I think he's feeling better. Do you think he might be lost? Love, Emily. Dear Emily, please don't put any more salt in the pond. I'm sure your parents won't be pleased. I'm afraid there can't be a whale in your pond because whales don't get lost. They always know where they are in the oceans. Yours sincerely, Greenpeace. And so the story goes on. And I won't spoil it for you because you might want to read that story yourself. So it's a lovely story. It's by Simon James, Dear Greenpeace. And I even love the little postmark on the front of the book here, which just sort of tells you a little bit about where Emily lives, and she lives in a place called Plymouth, which is in Devon. So there's one example of a book written through letters, and you will have noticed, if you were listening, that when Emily writes her letter to Greenpeace, she signs it off Love, Emily. When Greenpeace writes back to her, they say Yours sincerely. So they're writing a little bit more formally, and using that sort of technique that you'd see in a more formal letter, maybe a letter from your school or your teacher, or a business letter that might come to the grown-ups in your house. So there's one example of letters and a story told through letters. And the next extract I'm going to share with you is from a book by Anne Fine. Some of you might be familiar with Anne Fine. Very prolific. That means she's written quite a lot of books for children. Goggle Eyes, Bill's New Frock, The Diary of a Killer Cat, The Angel of Nitz Hill Road, just some examples. And in this one, it's quite an old book now, and you'll be able to tell that from the content of the letter I'm going to share with you. But in this book, the two main characters, Oliver and Laura, have each been given a pen pal. And that was a very common thing to have many years ago. So somebody probably from the other side of the world, and you'd sort of write to them, you'd get an old-fashioned airmail envelope and send it to them, and maybe it would take several weeks for the letter to get to them, and then they'd write back and be several weeks later to get their news. And it was very exciting to get letters from the other side of the world. And I know nowadays that seems a very strange thing when you can have a response in seconds from anybody anywhere in the world. So in this book, say Laura and Oliver get their pen pals, and their pen pals don't sound that exciting, and they decide that they're going to maybe invent a few facts about their own lives. But if I read you one of the letters that they receive, you'll see maybe why they decided to make this a little bit more exciting. And this is a letter which Laura receives, and it goes like this. Dear friend, would you like to write to me? I would like that. It would be nice. I hope you will. How are you? I hope you are well. Where do you live? Are there a lot of houses on your street? There are a lot of houses on my street. What is your house like? How many rooms do you have? Do you have a lot of neighbours, like we do? Do you have any pets? I have no pets. Do you have a colour television? We do. Do you have a video? We do. Ours is new. Is yours new? We have 4 radio cassette players in our house. How many do you have? We have a stereo system too. Do you have a stereo system? We have a computer. Do you have a computer? What sort is it? We have some electric head shears. Do you have any electric head shears? We keep ours in the garden shed. Where do you keep yours? We have a microwave oven. Do you? With very best wishes, your pen pal, Philip. And I think we can see why perhaps Laura wasn't too taken with all that information from her pen pal. And you can also get a sense of how old that book is with some of those things that Philip seemed very excited about owning, microwave ovens and stereo cassette players and videos and all of those things. So that's just another example of a letter, and in that book how the author Anne Fine uses letters to keep her story moving on. And sorry, what I should have said, and I forgot to show you this, is the book is called A Pack of Liars. So it's by Anne Fine. And I do like the little cover at the front with the pictures of the 2 characters inside a postage stamp. I think that's a very clever technique. And again, with the postmark as well, we've got an idea that this book, there's something to do with letters in it. And the next 2 letters I'm going to share with you are both taken from the same book. This author actually does use the technique of letters quite often in her books as a way of moving the story on, or allowing events to take place, just a way of communication between the characters. And I won't tell you which book it is, but I will give you a clue. It's the 4th book in a series of 7 books, and a very well-known character, probably better known now in film than in books. Dear Sirius, you told me to keep you posted on what's happening in Hogwarts, so here goes. I don't know if you've heard, but the Tri-Wizard tournament's happening this year, and on Saturday night I got picked as 4th champion. I don't know who put my name in the Goblet of Fire, because I didn't. The other Hogwarts champion is Cedric Diggory from Hufflepuff. Hope you're okay, and Buckbeak, Harry. And this is what Sirius replies. Harry, I can't say everything I would like to in a letter. It's too risky in case the Isle is intercepted. We need to talk, face to face. Can you ensure that you're alone by the fire in Gryffindor Tower at 1 o'clock in the morning on the 22nd of November? I know better than anyone that you can look after yourself, and while you're around Dumbledore and Moody, I don't think anyone will be able to hurt you. However, someone seems to be having a good try. Entering you in that tournament would have been very risky, especially right under Dumbledore's nose. Be on the watch, Harry. I still want to hear about anything unusual. Let me know about the 22nd of November as quickly as you can. Sirius. And that, of course, was the Harry in that extract was Harry Potter, and Sirius was Sirius Black. That's actually taken from The Goblet of Fire, which was the 4th in the series. There were 7 books in total. So again, just a way of 2 characters communicating with each other, sharing their thoughts, and I guess moving the story on and leading to the next event when Sirius is going to come and see Harry on the 22nd of November. I suppose there's just one thing to say about letters, and Sirius alluded to it there, that obviously letters can be intercepted, they can fall into the wrong hands. And I guess that's something we have to be a bit mindful about, what we do put in our letters. And again, another technique in stories is the sort of the letter that does go astray, or the letter that never gets sent, or the information doesn't get communicated, and the sort of misunderstandings or plot twists that can lead to. And I've just got a couple more extracts to share with you, and then I will give you your writing challenge for the day. So I'm going to share one letter with you from this book, which is called Simone's Letters, and as the book might suggest, it's a series of letters. I'll read you the blurb in the back. Hi, my name's Simone. I live with my mum and go to Woodhill Primary School. The letters first started when Miss Cassidy said we had to say thank you to the theatre group. I write to my friend Chloe too. She's on holiday in Australia and likes to know all about what's happening here at home. Like when we went to the Dreamy Toffee factory and Anthony Bent shoved me into the icing sugar and I ended up having an asthma attack and then he had to say sorry and... But anyway, enough of that. I hope you enjoy my letters. So the book is a whole series of letters, and it all started when Simone had to write a letter, a thank you letter to the theatre company. And I'm sure at some point you've had to do something similar, where you've had maybe, you know, a theatre group come into school, or you've been on a trip or something. So it goes like this. To Rumpelstiltskin, Mayhem Theatre Company, care of the Royal Theatre, Queensgate, Bartok. Dear Rumpelstiltskin, I thought the play Rumpelstiltskin's Revenge was brilliant. It was the best play I've ever seen. I liked you the best because you were so funny. My favourite part is when you did all those cartwheels and made the straw turn into gold. I thought that was clever and would like to know this. How did you change the straw into gold? I never blinked at all and I still can't work out how you did it. Yours sincerely, Simone Wibberley, aged nearly 10. P.S. I was the one who was coughing when King Coconutty threw his toys all over the floor. Anthony Bent shoved me in the back when I was eating a tutti frutti and it went down the wrong way. I'm sorry if I made the king forget any of his words. And this begins a whole series of letters that Simone and various other characters exchange. And it's just, again, a very clever way of sharing insights into Simone's life. And as I said earlier, I suppose letters used in stories are a little bit like a diary because the characters can share sort of personal thoughts or their views of other characters and just, you know, what they're thinking, what they're worried about, what their concerns are, etc. So that, I say, is one extract from the book Simone's Letters, if you can see that there. Okay. So just to finish off, I'm just going to share two more books. I'm not going to read any extracts. I'm just going to show you these books because they're worthy of a mention. The first one, I couldn't really talk about letters and not mention The Jolly Postman or Other People's Letters. And I'm sure you all remember that book. And I'm sure you enjoyed, as many people still do, opening up all the different letters that the Jolly Postman was delivering. He's got letters for all sorts of characters, for the giant from Jack and the Beanstalk, the gingerbread man. He's got letters for Goldilocks, for Cinderella. I think that's just a lovely sort of engaging way of using letters to tell a story. And it's a very interactive book. That book, say, The Jolly Postman by Janet and Alan Alberg. And another book, this is more for the grown-ups, but it's just a book that I read years ago. It's a really lovely, charming book. It was also made into films called 84 Charing Cross Road. And you can tell, obviously, there's a letter theme by the stamp, by the airmail mark, and obviously the fact that it's the title, the address, 84 Charing Cross Road. And it's a book, it's written by a lady called Helen Hanff, and she's an American lady, and she basically has a relationship through letters with a gentleman who owns a bookshop in Charing Cross Road in London. And they start off just talking to each other about books, and their sort of friendship develops from that. But it's a lovely book, and again, a very clever way of keeping a story going through letters. So my challenge to you today is very simple. It's to write a letter. It doesn't have to be a huge long letter. It can just be a little note. And it's just to somebody that you haven't seen for a while, haven't been in touch with. And maybe you've had lots of contact with them through other methods, but a letter is really special. And I know that they'll be so pleased to get that letter in the post. And I suspect when they get your letter, they'll probably write back to you as well, because that's the way that communication works. And so your letter just has to be a bit of news, maybe just what you've been up to, what your plans are, just maybe something special that you've been doing. You can maybe ask them a few questions as well about what they've been up to. So it doesn't have to be hugely long, and it's the fact of sending it, and I say they will really appreciate that. So have a really good Wednesday. It's sunny here, so I hope it's sunny where you are. And grown-ups, I know I say this all the time, but again, I'm here and available if there is anything that I can ever help with or you want any advice with. Please do contact me. As I always say, if I don't know the answer, I'll try and put you in the direction of somebody who does. Have a really good Wednesday, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.